Welcome back to another tutorial, and in this one I'm going to show you the anatomy of an itinerary. So you've now created your first itinerary. This is how you're going to go about using the rest of the tools available to you. So I've already shown you how you can edit the title. This is a 2-week family holiday to Indonesia. You can give the itinerary a description. You can select a date if you know when you're traveling. You can give it a cover image. Select the country that you're going to. I can say Indonesia. And here I've said that we're going to Raja Ampat. I wish. And you can give a joining password, and this is going to be relevant for when you invite other people to your itinerary, and I'll discuss that in another video. So now, once you've created your itinerary and you've set the basic details and the basic information for the itinerary, you can turn off your editing, and you're presented with a blank screen because you haven't yet created anything. So to create your first day of the itinerary, click the plus button. You've now got the first day of your itinerary ready to build. You can create more days, so day 2, day 3, day 4, and so on. You can summarize what you're going to be doing that day. So today we land in Bali. And then you can start building your timetable for that day. So let's say 10 a.m. we are going to land in the international airport. And then 11 a.m. you can say get taxi to hotel. And so on. You see what we're doing here. The tools underneath that you can find, so if you click on this, you can add notes for each of the relevant pieces of your timetable. So for example, for the taxi you can say meet driver at gate 10, for example. Just little snippets of information that might be useful to you later on. The next one along is the points of interest or associated locations. Then we've got accommodation items, then we've got restaurants, then we've got photography locations, and then we've got useful links. And I'll show you how to use each of those. You can do the same for the rest of the days. So you can say in day 2, we're going to arrive in Komodo. And you can do the same for day 3, day 4, day 5, and so on. If you go back to your overview, you can see that you've made those changes and summarized those days. And this can be as long as you want. You can go into as much detail in your summary as you like. I'm going to make this a 14-day itinerary because I said that we were going on a 2-week family holiday to Raja Ampat. Okay. Now, if you go back to your overview, you can see that you've got 14 days in the itinerary. You can swap these days around. So let's say you've planned one day and given it a summary, and you've planned day 2 and given it a summary, but actually you want to do day 2 before day 1. So all you need to do is just drag and drop. So now you're arriving in Komodo first, and then you're landing in Bali. Okay, I'm going to switch them back again. Now, to use your maps, so let's say we go back to day 1. We're going to say we're landing in the international airport. So let's search for Bali Airport. You can drop a pin there and give it a name and save it. Now, if you click on edit, you can then click on your location items, and then now you have the airport available. When you click on this, it associates that location with this piece of your timetable. Now, if you turn off editing and you navigate away from that on your map, so you're somewhere else on your map, and what you can do is click on this, and it will take you back to that location that you pinned down, and that's associated with that item. So you can do the exact same for residences. You can save the location of the hotel you're staying in. You can save the locations of any restaurants. You can save photography spots, and you can add useful links. So for example, let's say you're traveling to a location and you've got a car rental service provider that you want to use for that trip. You can just save that link here. This will be an easy way to access any links that you find useful and you want to access later. Now I'm going to show you the sidebar. So this is a sidebar, and it has a bunch of tools that you can use to help plan your itinerary. So the first one is AI features. I'm not currently registered as a premium user, so I don't have access to the AI features, and I'll show you those in another video. You have to-do lists, so you can add items to your to-do list, things that you need to do for the trip, and you can assign them to the people that are part of this itinerary that are traveling with you. Then you have a notepad, so any notes that you create will be saved to this notepad for you to remind yourself of things later. You can save any tickets, upload any tickets that you have here, so you have a quick way of accessing them later rather than searching through your email. You can save any travel documents that you may have, upload them here, so visas or anything like that. Any locations that you pin down for your accommodation, they will appear here, and you can also add them, create them here. This is your bucket list, so anything that you or your fellow travelers want to do on this itinerary but you haven't yet booked, it's just something that you'd like to do, you can add here, just as a reminder that you might want to book these things later on. This is your reading list, so you can find articles from around the web that you find interesting and pin them here, so you have a way of reading them later on. And you can actually sort these articles day by day, so you can assign a particular reading list item or a particular web page that you want to read on one particular day of your itinerary. So you'll be reminded to read that article on that day of your itinerary when you're in the location that you want to be in. Then you have navigation, so you can save any Google Maps routes here, and then this will, if you just click the link, it will open up that Google Maps route. Your restaurants, so any restaurants that you've saved will appear here. This is your diary, so you can write your own diary when you're traveling, so just as a way of journaling, and you can also upload photos here. This is your expenses, so you can write down anything that you've spent on. You can assign them to the person that made the purchase, and then you can decide to split those bills later on after the trip's over. These are the locations that you've pinned down. So earlier we saved the location of the airport, so you can see that appear here, and this is assigned to day 1. You can change the day that it's assigned to, so let's say if you change it to day 2, it will now show up in day 2. And these are your photography locations. Right down here we have another way of accessing those tools in the sidebar. So if you click on this, you can see all those things that we mentioned earlier right here, and slightly easier to see sometimes here. So there's 2 different ways of you accessing and viewing that data. And that's a really quick run through of the anatomy of an itinerary. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.